did you come from, you Not really, I knew you were there. I'll beat that out on YouTube. Anyway, it's time for some actual electrical content. I'm hands-free, so I can't do that bit like I normally do. Might have to re-record that now for YouTube, hang on. So it's time for some actual electrical content. I'll zoom in on that on YouTube, yeah? I'm going to talk about metering, energy metering for various different reasons and the various different things that I've got because I like to have the props. I'm going to take you from near enough the top, this fella. It's not the top. Like, I bet NASA got something better, but as near as the top as we're going to get as scumbag electricians, to right down at the lower end. I didn't say bottom. Yeah, I don't do bottom feeding products. Yeah, I'm not going to say you aren't, no. One of them fucking blades that's meant to sharpen recip saws or something like that. I'm going to take you through energy metering for electricians from top to bottom, to your mum's bottom. The number one reason for metering, no, that's wrong. Let me give you some reasons for metering, yeah? One of them is like checking energy meters. So you get some dickhead, and they're always a dickhead, who says, I don't think my meter's right. I think the electricity company charged me too much money. Here's the newsflash, yeah? They're fucking not. Very, 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 very rare you find a fucked up electricity meter. It's a very rare occurrence. Often it's because Tarquin's left his fucking Octobon, not realising it's using the equivalent of a small third world country in electric. But I digress, but you still might get people coming to you, asking you to check that. I'm going to go and turn that beep off now before it ruins one of my shots. So yeah, you get people coming to you saying their electricity meter's not right. One, you can get the electricity board team to deal with that. But two, you can offer a service where you hunt down those problems, hunt down the thing that's costing an energy. Don't make them look like a dickhead, which they are, by them just going to the electricity board. You go, well, I'll come in with my energy monitoring equipment and I'll find out what it exactly is in your house that's costing you that money. Because it's probably you, because you're obviously a fucking prick. Anyhow, that's number one reason. I hear that a lot, I get that a lot. Number two is, I want to monitor the amount of energy I'm using for sale or from earnings from solar and things like that. That's a lot of the metering I do. That uses another different type of meter. And number three is, just people are more savvy. People want data. People love apps. Apps. So I've recently moved from Octopus, because Greg's a fucking to Tomato Energy because they're cheaper. And I've got to say, Tomato Energy, yeah, whilst they are cheaper, loads cheaper, check them out, they are not as, the apps aren't as good. But the problem is, are you going to stick to it with Octopus because they've got a good app? Don't get me wrong, the app is decent. In fact, it's not even their app. Their app's like shit. But I was using an app called Octoaid, which would get the API data off Octopus and give me a really good look at my usage and my daily things like that. But do you want to stop with an energy company because they've got that facility? Well, I'll give you a clue. For not a lot of money, you can have that style of app on your phone privately, no matter whether you're getting your electricity from Octopus, Tomato, or the local lamppost you've hacked into. So a lot of homeowners now want savvy information and data about what they're doing, and you can provide that on an iPhone or an Android in a really great app for fucking honestly not a lot of money, but we're going to get there in a minute. But let's start off with some of the options available to you. And if anyone is out there thinking, yeah, you might have seen on yesterday on Instagram, I was doing some training here with Julian from Chevron Arnu. One, they've not sponsored this video, so go suck my balls. Two, I bet you're thinking, is he just doing this video because all this stuff's here already? You're fucking damn right. I ain't getting it all out again. While it's here, it's going to fucking earn me some pennies off YouTube, innit? So, first of all, we're going to take a look at, like, what I would call, like, temporary power logging, analysing, data, meter checking, and the facilities to do that. And obviously what you really want to know is, how much is it going to cost you? Well, I'll give you a clue. In this case, with the Chevron Arnu gear, they are absolutely going to pull your fucking pants down. So I'm going to start off with the Chevron stuff I've got, yeah? Cool. I've got to start off with Chevron stuff I've got. Cool. I'll start off with the Chevron Arnu stuff I've got. First of all, full disclosure, I didn't fucking pay for any of this. This is on, like, semi-permanent loan to me, along with all its associated gubbins, because I've built up a rapport with them, because they do sponsor the podcast, and I do bits with them. So let's get that out of the way straight away. They also didn't pay for this video, but this is the equipment I got. This is the equipment I'm showing. I'll also let into a little secret. The Fluke stuff that does the same job that I used to rent compared to this is fucking shite. Absolutely shite. The gear's are right, but the software is... Anyhow, I digress. This one over here, which will be B-roll now for on YouTube, yeah, is the CA8835. That's a power quality analyzer. Let me pick it up because this is an interactive thing, isn't it? This is the Chevron CA8335. This is not the top of the range analyzer they do one that's better with this. This one does not have internet connectivity or GPS or timing or anything like that was, yeah? But it's a very high standard, standalone. I believe it's Cat B. If this is on YouTube, I will interject at some point with all the specs. But, well, no, I won't. Just go on the internet and look if you're after this kind of thing. But this is a very high quality
power analyzer.
The new one they've brought out makes this one look like it's a bean tin, because the new one's got fucking, you can log into it remotely, it's got fucking GPS time clocks, you can synchronise about 20 of them together, blah de blah de blah de blah. I can't imagine many people watching this video are going to need one of these daily, because if you need one of these daily, you think I was a dickhead. However, you might be in the market to rent one, which you can. They're expensive, they're good, it does all the gubbins, it does like nanosecond login, it'll look at inrushes over a second, blah de blah de blah, all complicated stuff we don't need to worry about. Bosh, £8 grand it's going to cost. How much is it going to cost you? Bosh, £8,000 is going to cost you. I need to add a little caveat to that £8,000, which I'll do in the next one, yeah? I've had this for a year. Yesterday, Julian come and showed me how it worked. It now makes sense to me a lot more than it did. But I'll give you a clue. The software is not very intuitive for your average electrician. It's actually not that hard to understand. For me, now I've been shown how it works, but I must admit for the past year, I've been a bit bamboozled. So don't just go renting one without maybe speaking to Chevron, because they will guide you down the path and help you out with that. Or they'll recommend something that can, blah, blah, blah. Don't go renting it. Let's face it, yeah, I've had it for about a year. Now, I know it's not shit, but if I didn't know that, I might have thought it was shit because it was just basically a big stepping stone getting forward. For £8 grand, I'd be fucked. You're not going to buy this off the bat and just start the trade. It's too much money. It's quite difficult to use and understand, but it is not bad. I bet you're thinking Chevron won't get any more stuff if you keep slagging it off like this. The fact is, I'm not slagging it off. I'm trying to warn the average electrician / electrical technical person that you're not just going to go and rent this, use it, and send it back and get other data out of it, yeah? You're going to have to fuck around with it a little bit more. Great product, does all what I wanted to do, definitely what I wanted to do. Now I've been shown it, it's great, but be aware. Don't rent it, then be like, oh, it's fucking shite, because you probably will think it's fucking shite because it's quite difficult to pick up. Anyhow, that's that one out of the way. Let's come down a noggin into probably the area now that more electricians are going to operate in. Now we're dropping into PAL territory, yeah? This is the PAL, Power Energy Logger. This is quite an advanced one, so advanced that I can't get a fucking door. These do a lot of good stuff. However, one thing that is different is the energy logger is much easier. Well, it's better to use it via the screen because the screen gives you all the data you want in one go. The PALs, the screen is not designed like that because it's meant to log energy, and the screen is more of an LCD setup thing. So if you think you're going to sit there and use it like a computer, the analyzers, you're going to look at it and get the data out of it while you're there on site. The PAL, you're not going to do that. The screen is for basic setup only. I'll admit to you, I never use a screen. I always plug my laptop in because I get pretty pictures that I can understand because I'm a bit thick. This is the PAL 106. This is the most expensive PAL we do, because I was like, you ain't giving me no cheap shit. I want the fucking decent one. The difference is, between this and the other ones, is this one's in a Pelly case. We asked for the posh one. This one's got a SIM card you can put in it. Not that it matters because the 3G is going to get turned off soon. You can connect to the internet and connect to it remotely, which I've found to be absolutely a fucking excellent feature that I've used. And you can remote log into it while on my site. External power supply, SD card, all the logging features, look on their website. This one's in a nice case. Bosh, £3,000 that's going to cost you. Would I have bought one of these? No. Yeah, if they hadn't gave me this one like a pub loan, I would have bought one. I wouldn't have bought this one. I'd have bought the cheaper ones. So the cheaper ones are exactly the fucking same, but they're in the square form factor, which will be up here if you're on YouTube. If not, you can Google the PALs. Most of them come in like this square pace. Looks like a big long rectangle, but I particularly wanted this one so I could keep it nice and tidy. The simple fact is, negative point is, you can leave it like that. On site, all the connections are here. The one bad thing about this is if you want to monitor it remotely, there's the RJ45. You've got to bring the RJ45 port outside the waterproof case, which is a dickhead move. However, you could use the wireless, so like there is a way out of it. You could use the 3G connectivity. So, but if you want to just go wide, which I always would prefer to do, you have to basically squeeze it out the lid and foot the cable up. Other than that, it's an excellent product, and like I say, they do cheaper versions with the PEL, whatever it fucking is. I think the version of this that's not in a Pelly case is the PEL 104. Don't quote me on that. I think they're about 1,200 quid. And you've got the entry level, which I think is called the PEL 51, which is a single phase only one. Entry level for all you normal house bashers, single phase people. Dave Saving's got a video one. Hey, cocksucker. Cocksucker, yeah. You know your Dave. I think they start for about 700 quid with all the gubbins with it. So for that entry level one has most of the in fact, it has all the gubbins you need, I'm sure it does, for the 700 quid. However, with those two there, for 8 grand you get that. You get that box, I believe, pretty much that box. For your 3 grand you get that box. You also need a bag. This is the bag I have for them. And also this huge box here of gubbins, so you're going to need CTs. Yeah? Maybe different types of CTs. USB cables, power cables, link cables, socket adapters and all that. If you're going to do 3-phase, my advice would be, and this is not what I've been told, I haven't been told anything by Chevron. My advice would be, if you're going to buy one of those and you want to do some 3-phase monitoring, with basically the basic entry-level range CTs, you probably want to be allowing yourself £1 grand for the ancillary. So that'll now be 9 grand, that'll be fucking 4 grand, and maybe a little bit more. So like, don't get twisted. You're going to need additional products to make those fucking function on top of that, or you can go and rent it and try it out. Blah, 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 blah. That's that kind of area covered now, so off we go. Would I buy those? If Chevron took those back, would I buy them? If I'd used from Absolutely, would I rent them? Absolutely. Would I ever use a Fluke again? No. Did Chevron pay for this? No. My go-to meter on box is a Fluke, yeah, because Chevron don't make a good one of these. They don't make a good one of these, I don't think, that suits me in the form factor I like. However, those are fucking fantastic, as well as, I mentioned it again, this little CT they do, which lives in my box. It's fucking wild, it fits anywhere. Anyhow, that's not the purpose of this thing. I broke that now. Next one is, you want to sell or bill for electricity. What options have you got then? Right, if you want to sell or bill for electricity, you're going to need a meter that looks like this. Probably some sort of something that looks like this, yeah? This meter you can sell or bill electricity for because it's MID approved. It also needs to incorporate all the MID requirements, which are a little bit more expensive than just buying the meter. For a start, you'll have to buy some external CTs, and you'll have to tell it what CTs it takes. If you are billing or getting paid for solar, it needs to be MIT approved. If it's just to fit it in your factory, so you can work out how much each one of your processors cost, you could just use a non-MID approved meter, so you can allocate costs internally. I use Rayleigh Instruments, yeah? That's whose meters I've used for a long, long time, since they did me a first good meter, and it worked out well for me, and the technical was good. And since then, I've stuck to them religiously because they do an excellent range of CTs, got really good backup and support, and the stuff just is not shit. And that's who I use exclusively. There are exceptions. If a customer comes to me and demands, I don't know, you say like a PM8000 by Schneider, or a Dirius A40 or A41, which are like just very common old meters that were really, really good that people still use. If people come to me and ask me for those, I'll fit those. A PM8000, I think there's loads of power factor and harmonics on board. It's about 8 grand. Yeah. These ones here, in an assembly with the CTs, fitted by someone like me who knows what they're doing to comply with MID appliance, you're looking at between £800 and £1,500 per meter. Obviously depends on how many of them that, but that's a good benchmark if you'd like to fit an MID or just an internal auditing accounting meter in this style. This one goes in a box. That's where you're at. There's all sorts of ways of doing this as well. There's door mounts, DIN rail mounts, meters that look like normal electricity meters. There's all that fuckery going off, but The other thing is, this one's got Modbus, but generally you scroll through the screens, look at your import, your export, your power factor, all that. There are ways of getting it to a computer. There are ways of getting multiple of them to a computer on site. There are ways of getting it off site. But all of that equipment, it's got Modbus on board there. But the PC you'll need, the softwares you'll need, the getting it off site stuff you'll need, that will all cost extra. And if you say you wanted to have about 20 metres remotely read off a site with all the gubbins, you're looking at about £2,000 per 2 years to just read and monitor that stuff off site. That's a ballpark figure based on what I did a while ago, but that's the kind of thing you're looking at. So yeah, this won't natively just be off site or on your phone. It doesn't have an app in it. It doesn't have any of that shit. It's very much a utilities meter. All that's going to cost you. So if you wanted one of these with off-site metering, I'd say looking at more of a £2,000 to £3,000 mark. But if you had 10 of them, that off-site metering cost wouldn't increase. I know what you're thinking, like, I ain't spending 8 grand. And then you're thinking, I ain't spending £3,000, although you might rent those. Then you're thinking, no customer's going to pay me 800 quid for a meter in their house that's not really got great connectivity. Well, luckily for you, if you're small-scale commercial, yeah, up to like 100 amps, or you're a domestic customer, and you want some geeky app-based thing that does all that for you, there is something that does that. I'll go over to the set to do that with the bargain basement versions, cartoony app-flavoured ones that will keep your customers happy, and you can sell to people, and that start off as a starting off drug for any electrician. I'm sure any electrician that buys what I'm going to show you next will end up buying something like this because it's the next logical step up. It's a big jump up from what I'm going to show over there to these, but you soon realise you need it when you're looking at stuff, because you can't smell electric, do you know that? Back, continue this content, right. Over here, I've got the number one go-to, yeah. These are so cheap. These are so cheap that if your customer asks you to gather some data and you supplied these, it won't be worth you taking them out. Once you've fitted them, it's not worth ripping them out. If you put this in, say to the customer, yeah, you get to keep it, and you get to look at it forever because it's not worth taking it out. This is the Shelly. You'll have heard me speak about Shelly meters before. I was speaking about Shelly meters before they were cool or paid e-fix. But this one is the Shelly 3EM, I believe. Is it the 3M? The Shelly Pro 3M. The benefits of that one are din mountable, 3 CTs because it will do 3-phase or 3 single-phase circuits, although the maths got a bit wrong on it, to be honest. Input lives, neutral, and not the earth. Power, Wi-Fi, and on the bottom it's got RJ45 local area network, so you got to worry about the Wi-Fi. Yeah, sometimes when you put a Wi-Fi device to metal fuse board, as happened at my house, the Wi-Fi can't get out. So I put mine in a fuse box, a metal fuse box, a metal consumer unit, and the 3M couldn't get the Wi-Fi. I got quite a low Wi-Fi signature, so I had to mount a plastic box on the side, which I mounted it in. I've got 2 of them in my fuse board, doing solar, battery, mains in, and the distribution. The 3M gets rid of that by having the LAN. You get 3 CTs with it. 100 quid. 100 quid. Absolute fucking no-brain bargaino. Slap it in somewhere. Connect the CTs to the circuit or circuits you want to monitor. Either 1 3-phase or 3 single phases. Put voltage to it so it's got something to do its maths on. And you are fucking off. Just to cover it, yeah, then you've got this one, which is the Shelly EM energy monitor. Little tiny thing, like I say, don't want to be inside a metal fuse box. That has 2 CTs. Just be aware, these are the 120 amp CTs that you can put on both devices. You can probably get your little finger in them. I measured it for someone, I think it was about, I can't remember. I'll put a dimensional period on YouTube. Yeah, then they have these CTs, which are 60 amp ones. And they can just about fit a pencil in. Again, the dimensions will be here if it's on YouTube. That's the big CT. And that's the little CT. The little CT takes about fucking inches. What fucking planet are we on here? Like being in America. That's going to take no more than 10 mil. Yeah, that's pushing it. I'll do it sideways, actually. Sideways, it's literally 10 mil if it's a push. And the big CT will take, and that's going to push 16 mil at a push. I'd argue probably 15's more like it. So there you go. So just be aware, if you buy the cheapest CTs, they'll just fit around like, the maximum they'll fit around is like a 10 to 16 mil single core cable. And now these ones will easily, the 120s will fit around a 25 mil mains tail, which is basically what you want to know. The EM2 does 2, the EM3 does 3 and can do 3 phase basically. That's where you're at. Again, cheap as fucking chips, not worth removing. So clip round the cables, supply it with the voltage, connect to your Wi-Fi, the web browser that it gives you. So these are local as well, they don't require the cloud. So the local devices, if Shelley as a business go bankrupt, you'll still be able to connect to these locally and go to the internal web browser, which is why I've been shouting about for a long time, because they are independent. I do not like things that rely on the cloud, yeah? I do not like things that rely on someone else's computer, which is why I've always bigged up Shelley, because their stuff will work with Home Assistant, independently in your house, blah, 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 blah. It's all local to you. You can use their cloud system, but you don't have to, and I don't. When you log into the web browser, you get the data set out in a reasonable fashion. You can download it as a CSV, blah, 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 blah. They've not got a lot of memory, so you might have to use the cloud if you want to do some big storage, but that is what it is. Obviously, at £100 and £60, they are fucking dirt cheap. And the old adage goes, you do get what you pay for. I'd argue in this case, if that note falls off again, I'm going to do it up. But yeah, I'd argue in this case, you get more than what you pay for. For the money, these are absolutely fucking excellent. And they are reasonably accurate, yeah? I can take the value of my battery and my solar, and when I do the maths, yeah, it comes out all right. And by all right, I mean within 10%, which is nowhere near enough for electricity board. If you go to the electricity board and go, well, your meter says I've used 100 kilowatts, but my Shelley says I've used 90 kilowatts, they're going to tell you to fuck off, because the accuracy rate of these CTs is, in fact, low. To be classed for MID, you've got to be in the 1% window. These probably operate a 10% window, in my personal experience, yeah? But that's pretty good for working out how my battery's doing life cycles on my battery, looking at my solar, and it puts it in such a wicked little app, which I'll screenshot here, of my own house. And as I said, you're not going to take that data and you are not going to use it for anything other than like analytics, your personal home shit, a little bit of statting, working out a bit of stuff around your house, watching the cat go up. You are not going to use that data for hardcore accounting. If you had a mate that lived with you and you put it on the ring main to his bedroom, you'd probably get within 10% of the electricity he's using, yeah? If you really want to do that. If you want to work out how much your fish tank's costing you a year, or a compressor's costing you a year, or the downstairs lighting is costing you a year, yeah? It's going to be all right for that kind of maths. But it is not going to be any good for selling, resell, or charging. If you want to do that, you've got to go MID, and the price just goes up. These are basically electronic toys for home automation, power, data gathering geeks. They're really well made. They've got all the right kind of approvals. They're constructed as such, but I do regularly see them blowing up on the internet. The Shelley website does have a few that are blown up on, right? That's a fact. Go on there and look. Also, this one in the middle is a temperature one. So I was like, great, I'll get these two probes here, and I'll get this temperature module, which is here, and I'll connect to my hot and cold return flows of my boiler.
Just when you think that this channel couldn't get any more boring. Oh my God, what an absolute...
And monitor it. What happened was, one day when my boiler had been on for a prolonged amount of time, it failed. What I suspect happened was, the heat travelled all the way down the wires and the wires got hot into the electronics and melted it. Yeah, they are not industrial grade sensors like I tried to use them as. If I want to do that, I need to get some industrial grade stuff. They are electronic measuring device toys for enthusiasts. So don't go fitting them to customers' houses and make out they're anything else. They are app-based. I personally think 3-year guarantee is probably about all you're going to get out of them, and then you just replace it for the money you pay. It's just not industrial grade stuff. However, it's still great. I know a few people will be thinking, yeah, get one, put it in a DAT box, hang the CTs out of it with a bit of cable, and fit it temporarily in people's houses like you might do a PAL, right? Be my guest, do that. I even thought about it. I even started putting one into a box before I then realised it's a fuck around, it's not accurate enough. If you're just doing a bit of monitoring at someone's house, you're trying to find a problem, maybe it'll do you. But you'd be much better off, if you're kind of trying to do that kind of stuff, buying the low-level PAL, the £700 single-phase one. But you could do it, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, you could do it. I cannot knock them. I find it difficult to knock them for the price. I've got 4 of them in my house. I've got these 2 here, which are just for this set. I was going to actually fit them into someone else's house, but it never came round. And I can't fault them. But they are not industrial grade gear. They are going to fail. They are cheapish electronics. So putting them in people's houses and saying they last more than 3 years, you want to be careful. Before I ask, these are living on this little set and this little board because I'm going to do a video about each one. It probably is one video, so I'll do the temperature one because it's useful to get temperature data. The electrical metering ones because it's useful data, and you can literally put one of these in your house and get this data back to Home Assistant really easily. These are, I can't remember what sense they are, but they're really, really cheap. It's a great way of getting it back. However, as I found out, it's not going to sit on a pipe that measures 70 degrees, 80 degrees centigrade, and without it melting. So the good kit, I will cover more videos, but for this video, that's about it. They're your options from the reasonable bottom to the reasonable top. Don't get me wrong, there's much more expensive bits of kit than the Chevron one, I bet. I bet there's a meter that costs 10 times that measures down to the 0.00 thing, but for your general electrician, what I've covered there, that's what you've got at your disposal. And each one of those levels can be broken out to loads more bits on that level, but they're the ones I've got to show you. So yeah, from the 60 quid for 2 single-phase ways at a very low accuracy class, all the way up to, I think, the one I haven't got, the next Chevron, I think is about 9 grand, accuracy class A. That's your range. You could probably, I mean, you wouldn't rent them. It'd be a waste of your time, but you can rent the other gear. That's what you've got in your disposal. So when someone comes to you and goes, oh, I've had a swimming pool fit, I'm spending an absolute fortune, you can pick something out of that arrangement that's going to be able to tell them, yeah, it's because of your pool, mate, when they're moaning. So there you go. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. I'll try and pick them up when I do the Shelley video, which is a nice home for it. But yeah, this is a little introduction to the type of metering, both semi and permanent, available to you. See you later, you fucking